What's up, y'all? Here today to talk about a viral video that's been going around about a girl named Quiera Owens, also known as Kelly. She did an interview on a channel on YouTube called Soft White Underbelly, where she explained her childhood and what she went through, and basically sharing her life about being a prostitute and how she was a prostitute since she was 11 years old, and how she still is a prostitute. She told a couple of stories to the interview of the guy, and the video basically went viral. So basically what happened is, there's been a lot of inconsistencies in her story. People are accusing her of lying, and there's a couple of things that she said in her interview. One thing that was said was that she had no family. She basically was alone in the world. She had no family. She was in foster care from the age of 2 years old, and basically she's been on her own since 11. She's been prostituting, had a pimp, but people have found out a couple of things that makes her look like a liar. Honestly, she said that she dropped out because she said she left. She basically ran away from home at the age of 11, and basically been prostituting ever since, and doesn't really have any family. So basically, she said that she dropped out at the age of 11, and that she was in the 6th grade. That was her last. That's the farthest education that she has is 6th grade. That's what she, basically told everybody. Said in the interview, and yeah. So people have looked her up or whatever. Like, people that know her, I guess she's from California, and people have looked her up. And the people that know her, like went to school with her, said that she's lying, and that she did go to high school. She might not have finished high school, but she definitely went. So that that one lie, which I feel like she probably was. She went through something. I feel like she went through something. So, but the fact that you would lie and say, well, I'm dropped out at 11, and she said that that's the last time that she's been to school, basically. But people proved that was a lie. So a lot of people was like, why are you guys believing that? Maybe she probably did get molested or whatever, but her credibility is shot because people have found proof that some of the things that she said she was lying, saying that she doesn't have any family, she's not in touch, she has no family, she doesn't talk to any of her family, her mother, whatever. But people have been saying that she was with her grandmother, basically. Like, she lived with her grandmother, and how teens are, where they want to run away and do what they want to do, and so she's lying, basically. That's what they're saying. But for me, what I really don't know. I mean, I feel like she I feel like her story is true, but some of the things that she said, it doesn't match up with what she said, what she's saying, or like she like kind of like the story that she's telling, she like mixes the people up. Like she said, basically she gave two examples, two stories of what happened to her. And the first thing that happened was when she was 5, and the other thing happened when she was 7, right? So basically, and I think I'm gonna probably play the clip for you guys, but she said that this is the first time that it happened. She said this is the first time that she can remember, the first thing she can remember, when she was 5, and her foster father came in and he grabbed her and molested her. And then she said that the foster mother came in, you know, said, what are you doing? Like, and he slapped her, he punched her, whatever. And then she said, like, the cops was called. That's how the cops was called, or something. That's what she said. So my thing is, at first she said, when she was talking, she said, she said basically, like, she said that the foster mother, like, she was like, basically she was saying like how her foster mother didn't, like, she knew what he was doing but she didn't care. But in the same breath, she says that when she came in and he tried to do what he did to her, she said that like, what are you doing? And the foster father smacked her or punched her or something like that. I'm gonna play the clip real quick.
I've been abused, I've been raped, I've been molested, I've been tortured.
So what ages?
My first time ever being raped, I was 5.
By who?
My foster parent, he raped me, and the foster mom, she knew, but she didn't care. That's what it looked like.
But you hear how she said that she didn't care? She said, well, she knew, but she didn't care. We're going to unwind that in a second, but let's keep going.
That got proven in court, me getting molested and raped at 5. And then I got moved. I've been in 24 different foster homes. My grandma got me at 2 months in foster. Then she lost me, I think I was around 2. So I was in foster care. Then my mom got me back. She won me back.
Got it.
And then she lost me again due to abuse. She abused me again. And she lost me. I had webs everywhere, purple webs everywhere. And then I got took away. That's when I was in foster care. And my first time ever getting molested, at least to my memory, that's the first recollection I can remember. And it's crazy with that recollection because that was something that I always would remember or think that I know exactly what happened. I will always think certain things to myself, like, just on that particular age. I would think, like, because I know exactly what he did to me. I remember him coming in the door. I remember everything. Me and my foster mom were just watching a movie. He walked in drunk. He had a cup of alcohol in his hand. And, he pretty much, like, asked me to come into the room or whatever. And with me being 5 years old, I'm not expecting this or whatever. So, like, he just grabbed me up and, like, covered my face and told me to be quiet and just did it. And there was just, like, blood everywhere. I was screaming. She came in. This is how the police was called. She came in and she was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He hit her. But I guess I found out later that they had already history of abuse problems in their relationship. So this is why she never cared about him continuing to do it.
So this is my question. My question is, you said the cops was called at that point when he smacked her or whatever. Was the cops called at that situation? Like, was the cops called and you was taken? Or was the cops called and it was just a dispute between the mother and the foster mother and the foster father? But if that's the case, how was she? I mean, she's about to say, like, basically, like, after the other times, because she said this was the first time, like, this was the first time that he did it. This was the first time, and then she said all the other times after. which means, and this is a whole this is the same family. This is the same person that she's talking about. Basically, she's saying that um, he took her in the room. Whatever he did, the foster mother came in. She was like, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, to me, that sounds like she she probably was scared of him, as too, but that doesn't mean that she didn't care. She probably was scared of him as well, or whatever. But let's keep going.
But like I said, I will have memories in my head of certain things as I'm getting older, and I'm like, why would I think these things if it didn't happen, So then I went back and asked my foster, the caseworker, and she explained to me that all of this stuff was actually documented and stuff like that, and it's just crazy. It's like 5 years old.
Where'd your life go after 5?
Another foster home. And that was good. A few of my foster homes were good, but then I would go to, and it'll be another foster parent that.
And that's what it. I don't understand what she's saying, because she said that she said that the cops was called. So if the cops was called, then I feel like if the cops was called and they're foster parents, after there's a dispute between them, the mother, the foster mother, and the foster father, why wasn't the child taken out of the home? If that's what she's saying. But it sounds like she's saying basically that's how everybody found out what he was doing, because the cops was called. So if that was the case, then how was it able to happen another time with the same foster family if the cops was called that day, because that's what she said. Yeah, so that's what she said. But let me listen to it again and see if that's what she said. Because from my record, what she's talking about, she said this is the first time that it ever happened to her when she was 5. That's what she said in the beginning, that this was the first time that it ever happened to her. And she said that after this, the cops was called. So let's listen again.
Covered my face and told me to be quiet and just did it. And there was just like blood everywhere. I was screaming. She came in. This is how the police was called. She came in and she was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He hit her. But I guess I found out later that they had already history of abuse, why she never cared about him continuing to do it. But like I said, I will have memories in my head of certain things as I'm getting older, and I'm like, why would I think these things if it didn't happen, So then I went back and asked my foster, the caseworker, and she explained to me that all of this stuff was actually documented and stuff like that, and it's just crazy. It's like 5 years old.
Where'd your life go after 5?
Another foster home. And that was good. A few of my foster homes.
I mean, she said that basically she asked the caseworker. So you said that all of this was documented, meaning that everything that he did basically was documented, because that confirmed all the things that you kept remembering, and all the things that you were remembering, and you yeah, so basically that she wanted to like put a face to the things that she was, remembering, but not really knowing if it was true or whatever. Because you're 5, basically, you don't really, you can't really. Or like she was saying, she would like remember them, but like, why am I thinking about that? Like, why am I keep remembering this specific thing that happened? Like, is it true or whatever? So now she basically knows now that. At this point, that she knows basically what happened, because her caseworker told her what happened. Let's keep going.
I would go to, and it'll be another foster parent that likes to, rape and molest. Like, I was 7. I don't know if you can see these on my sides, yeah. But my foster dad, he actually duct taped me to a chair. And he pretty much screws in my ear, and then he pulled them out and like.
You put screws?
Screws.
So basically, a lot of people was talking about that too, saying like, "What? He put screws in your? What are you talking about, girl? Like, I mean, that's what she's saying that happened. She said that he did. You know, a lot of people they're crazy. Like they just do shit to kids for no reason, just because they get pleasure doing it. But a lot of people were saying like that sounds crazy. But if that's how she said that she remembered it, and that's what the guy did to her, then hey, that's what she said. She said he screwed screws inside her, like inside her face, not her face, but like under her ear or whatever it was. And she said she had like bruises from that. She still has like 2 bruises from that.
The small ones, he screwed them with a screw gun. He screwed them with a screw gun, in not all the way in, but he's just a sick fact. He screwed them in my ears, and now I have permanent marks here. They've been here ever since he did this.
He held you down or something?
He duct taped me to a chair. Duct taped me to a chair. I was sitting in a wooden chair like this, and he duct taped me. He used to chase me around the house.
So this part you gotta really listen to, because I when I watched it, I'm just like, what? Like I felt like she was like mixing the stories up. So this part, really listen to this part and listen to what she's saying.
Raped me, and I used to be running around the house. He would lock his wife in the room, and she would chase me around the house.
So remember that she said that now this is the second home that she was in when she was 7, and that the guy chased her around the house, and that he used to lock his wife inside the room.
I used to be running around the house. He would lock his wife in the room, and she would chase me around the house. I would be screaming for him and saying, "My foster dad, yes, my foster dad." He would chase me around the house to rape me, and I would just scream and I would cry. He would always catch me. She never. After that one time she tried, and he hit her. After that, that's when she just started getting locked in the room.
Now that's where the inconsistencies come up, because now you're mixing up the stories. The first, this is supposed to be when you were 7. The other one is when you were 5. So you guys heard the first story where she said that her foster mother came into the room when he brought her in the room, and he hit her, which was when she was 5. And now this story, she's basically mixing them up, and she's saying like, oh, like, you know, remember the first time when she came in and he hit her when she was telling me asking me like what he was doing. He hit her, but that was with a different family. So basically what she's doing is she's mixing up the stories, and it doesn't make sense. She clearly said that this is what happened to her when she was 7. The other time she was 5. Let's listen to it one more time, because maybe I'm bugging. Maybe I'm getting the stories mixed up. Let's listen to it one more time and see what she say.
And my first time ever getting molested, at least to my memory, that's the first recollection I can remember. And it's crazy with that recollection, because that was something that I always will remember or think that I know exactly what happened. I will always think certain things to myself, like just on that particular age. I would think like, because I know exactly what he did to me. I remember him coming in the door. I remember everything. Me and my foster mom were just watching a movie. He walked in drunk. He had a cup of alcohol in his hand. And, he pretty much like asked me to come into the room or whatever. And with me being 5 years old, I'm not expecting this or whatever.
So I'm not bugging. She said this was the very first time from her knowledge. 5. So this was the very first time from her knowledge of what happened. This is what happened to her the first time that she got molested. That's what she said. Let's move on to the next point that I was gonna make.
And just did it, and there was just like blood everywhere. I was screaming. She came in. This is how the police was called. She came in and she was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He hit her, but I guess.
She said that's how the police was called, basically. So that's how the police was called, and everything came out because of them having a him doing that, and then him hitting his wife, and then that's how the cops was called. So from what she's saying, this seems like this was the time when the cops was called, and then she was taken out of the home. And the interviewer is going to say the same. He's gonna ask her. So let's listen to that.
So
Where'd you like to go after 5?
Another foster home, and that was good. A few of my foster homes were good, but then I would go to.
He asked her what happened to you after that, and she said she went to another foster home. This is what she's saying. So she's saying that she went to another foster home, and she's going to talk about it.
And it'll be another foster parent that likes to, rape and molest. Like, I was 7. I don't know if you can see these on my.
See, she's saying that she was 7, and this is a different foster home.
Sides, yeah. But my foster dad, he actually duct taped me to a chair, and he pretty much screws in my ear, and then he pulled them out and like.
With screws.
Screws. The small ones, he screwed them with a screw gun. He screwed them with a screw gun, and not all the way in, but he's just a sick fact. He screwed them in my ears, and now I have permanent marks here. They've been here ever since he did this.
You down or something?
He duct taped me to a chair. Duct taped me to a chair. I was sitting in a wooden chair like this, and he duct taped me. He used to chase me around the house to rape me, and I used to be running around the house. He would lock his wife in the room, and she would chase me around the house. I would be screaming for him and saying,
"This is your foster parent?"
My foster dad, yes, my foster dad. He would chase me around the house to rape me, and I would just scream and I would cry. He would always catch me. She never. After that one time she tried, and he hit her. After that, that's when she just started getting locked.
So, like I said, she's mixing up the stories. She's saying that after the first time that he hit her, which you said that was the first foster parent, and then you're talking about the second foster parent, and you said that he locked her in the bathroom. But now you like putting both stories together and saying like, because you was talking about a whole nother foster family, and now you're basically all the things that you're saying, you're mushing them together. You're saying like, oh, like, after the first time, but I thought like after that happened, like after the first time he smacked the wife and they called the cops, I thought that they took you out the house, or did they not take you out the house? I don't understand.
In the room. And like one day he raped me so bad that I'll never forget. I had on a Hannah Montana gown, and he raped me on the bathroom floor, and to the point where I passed out. When I woke up, I was in the bathroom by myself with a puddle of blood. A whole puddle of blood.
7 years old.
7 years old.
So she said, you see how she said that's 7 years old. So basically, either she's like going back and forth with the stories, or she's mixing the stories up. So either she's like still talking about the first family that she said, but the first family that she was talking about, or she's talking about the second. Like it's hard to understand. That's why a lot of people are not understanding what she's saying, because it seems like she's mixing up the stories, or unless she's just all over the place and she's going back and forth from when she was 5 to 7 to 5 to 7. That's what it sounds like.
I'm afraid to ask, where did your life go after 7 years old?
After that, I think I went to a lady, and then pretty much then that's when the more so abuse started happening. More and more abuse. It's like physical and verbal abuse, It's like I will always say, I want my mom. No, I went back to my mom. But I did go to a foster parent who she would like verbally and physically abuse me. I was out with my mom. She would hit me and say, "You're never going back to your mom." And then I went back with my mom because she completed all of the classes and stuff like that.
So she's saying that she went back to her mother a third time. No, she said this is the second time because she said her mother lost her when she was 2 months. Then she went with her grandmother. Then her mother got her back when she was 2, and then she said that she had webs on her or something like that. She had webs all over her, purple webs, and then they took her again. They took her back. You know, they put her back in the system, and now she's saying like they gave her back to her mother after the second time. This is the third time that they given the her mother back the child after she abused her twice.
Back with my mom, and then she abused me again. Like, but years passed because I didn't get taken away till I was like 10, and she abused me again. But she had already been abusing me throughout that time, but not loud enough to the point where the police are being called. Like, my mom would make me wear turtlenecks. Even if it was hot, I would have to wear turtlenecks, and I would have to wear long pants, long socks. Everything would have to be covered when I go to school. Like these scars on my face, around my eyes and stuff, my mom, she threw a remote at my eye when I was young, and it cut my eye to the point where I had to go get stitches. She pushed me into a glass table and it broke. I had got a cut on my eye for that too. I'm not sure which eye it is. I would have to look. My mom, she has a mental problem, so I've always just been in the system, and I don't know. It's a lot.
So eventually you went out on your own at some point?
I ran away.
You ran away?
I just ran away because I got sick of...
What age were you on your own?
11.
You ran away at 11?
Yeah.
And where'd you go at 11?
I just ran away. That's when I started prostituting.
At 11? Why?
Actually, I met a guy, and he showed me that. He showed me that, like, I was running away, and he found me, and then he started like having sex with me and stuff, and then he just showed me to prostitute, and ever since I was from like 11 until even now, I prostitute, because I don't have a job, and nobody will hire me. I don't have my high school diploma. I don't have any family. Like, I started doing cocaine at 11 too. He showed me cocaine. I stopped doing cocaine though, because that's why I'm so small now. I just did cocaine, but I was with him all this time. He would abuse me, make me go on the blade.
And how old are you now?
21.
21.
So not too long ago that I stopped messing with him. I had to run away from him because he took me like state to state, and so he took me to another country. Is it Mexico considered another country?
Yeah, it is.
And that's fucked up that I even have to ask you that, because I didn't get a lot of schooling.
Yeah.
So, you know, he took me to Mexico, and this Mexican guy, he raped me, and he came inside of me, and I got pregnant.
So she's saying that, basically that she 21, she's still with she's not with him now. She says she left him earlier this last year, early in the year in 2019, and that she just recently left him, but before that he was like taking her from state to state, she said, and then he took her to Mexico, and I guess he had a prostitute and over there. That's what she said.
He told me not to for that one. It was he regulated all of the everything.
Really?
he regulated if it was a condom or no condom. He talked to the guys. I didn't talk to the guys. So I got pregnant, and I went full term with the pregnancy. And
that's my thing. Is like, how you, first of all, one, how you know that you went full term. That's number one. Number two, were you going to prenatal care? Did you get any type of anything? How did you know that you were full term? How did you know that it was time to have the baby? Like, did you go into labor? Like, what was the, because from what I understand is that before you go into, you have a baby, they do they put the baby on a monitor, make sure that they can hear a heartbeat. Like, when did you find out that this baby was? Did you find out once the baby came, or did they already know? Because when you go to the hospital and you pregnant or whatever, and you about to give birth, they put like a monitor on the baby, on your stomach to hear the baby's heartbeat before anything. So I don't understand that either. If she didn't get prenatal care, like what made you just go to the, like, was you in labor? Like, what happened? And then she made it known that this happened to her earlier this year, so early 2019. Well, last year, 2019, early 2019.
The baby died in some way, somehow. When I thought I was going to have the baby, but it was a stillbirth.
Oh, really?
A stillbirth.
How you going to have the baby? Where did you go to? You went to a hospital? What did you do? Like, I don't understand why you thought that you was going to go have a baby. Were you in labor? What happened? I don't understand that.
The baby was dead, and so that's really what made me, leave him, because that was recent, that I had a stillbirth and that I was raped by that Mexican guy in Mexico. So that really fucked me up, because it's like, I don't know.
And so you're out here on Skid Row now?
And now I came to Skid Row.
You're in 10?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any family? Do you have contact with your mom or anybody?
No.
So you're just on your own?
I don't have anybody.
You have no one?
Nobody. But God. I don't have anybody. That's why I have to sell prostitute still. So get by and on the county. That's all I have is the county. And my fucking tent. And God. And tricks. That's all I have. Learn more. I wanna be a lawyer. I wanna do cosmetology. But I don't know if I can, because I haven't been to school since I was 11,
Okay.
10.
So you never went to high school?
Never been to high school.
So everybody's saying that she just said that she never finished school. No, she said that she has not been to school since she was 10 or 11, and she said that she's never been to high school. For the people that said that she didn't say that, she did say that she never went to high school.
That's so embarrassing to say.
No.
I've never been to high school. All I know is the streets. I got put on gangbanging, prostitution. That's really all I know. And stealing what I need. I would never rob somebody out. I would just, my pimp, he would just make me go sell myself. But I want to be a lawyer. I want to do cosmetology. But I don't know if I can, because I haven't been to school since I was 11,
Okay.
10.
So you never went to high school?
Never been to high school.
So everybody's saying that she just said that she never finished school. No, she said that she has not been to school since she was 10 or 11, and she said that she's never been to high school. For the people that said that she didn't say that, she did say that. that she never went to high school.
That's so embarrassing to say.
No.
I've never been to high school. All I know is the streets. I got put on gangbanging, prostitution. That's really all I know. And stealing what I need. I would never rob somebody out. I would just, my pimp, he would just make me go sell myself. But in police, I always have, every time I see the police, I run, because like you said, I look young. So just imagine how young I looked when I was 11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
I always have to run from the police. Like when he took me to Mexico, I was in the trunk the whole time.
Yeah, in the trunk?
In the trunk.
And this is what I don't understand. You're 20, 21, you're 20, 21 years old. What the hell? You said this was recently, last year. Why do you need to be in the trunk? You're 21, 20, and if they do stop you, all you got to say is, I'm 20 or I'm 21. Like, you don't have to be in the trunk. I don't understand that either. What was the reason why you was in the trunk? If you're 21 years old, you said this happened recently, last year, and that was the reason why you ended it with him was because he got you pregnant or whatever. But why would you need to hide in the trunk? You're 20 or 21 years old. What would be the reason? That makes no sense. No sense at all. If they was to pull you over, I mean, unless you didn't have an ID, that's the only way. The only thing I could think of is that's the only way that they, he didn't want you because you didn't have an ID saying that you were 20 or 21. That's the only thing I could think of.
I would like to show my body to him because my foster dad, the one that first started raping me, he made me shave my vagina when I didn't even have pubic hair. And it would cut me. So now my vagina, I had to go to, and it's documented. I had to get stitches all in my vagina because he would be on Sherm.
And this is what makes it seem like she's adding things to the story because it's like, well, so why you didn't say that before? Like when you said that you were on the bathroom floor and you passed out, that's why it was so much blood. Why you just didn't say that before? It seems like you're like making things up, and then you're saying like, oh, she just said like remember the first guy that molested me, he did this, but you said that that happened when you were 5. The other thing that happened when you were 7. You said when you were 7, that was when you were on the bathroom floor, and now you're referencing the first person that molested you. You're not saying which was when you was 5, not 7. That's why people are like thinking that she's lying, because it seems like you're like, unless you're just all over the place, you don't remember like basically what age or whatever, I don't know, but it just seems like you don't know, you're like mixing the stories up.
When he was raping me, and he would cut me, so that's why there was puddle of blood, because he had cut me with the razor cut me all up. And I had to go get stitches for that on my vagina at a young age. I had to get my vagina stitched up.
So we're at this point, if you gotta go to the hospital and get your vagina stitched up because of that, and I'm sure, unless he took the razor out of the razor out of it, why was there puddles?
Because my foster dad, the one that first started raping me,
the one that first started raping me. That's what she said.
He made me shave my vagina when I didn't even have pubic hair. And it would cut me. So now my vagina, I had to go to, and it's documented. I had to get stitches all in my vagina because.
So basically, she said the last thing that she said was basically that she had to get stitches because the guy was on some type of drugs, and he would make her shave even though at 5 years old or whatever age she was, because she keeps going back and forth with her. I don't know what age she was, but even whether she was 5 or 7, she said that the guy made her shave even though she didn't have any pubic hairs or whatever. She said that the guy would make her shave even though she didn't have anything down there. But then she said that's, he was cutting her. He was doing some type of drugs. That's why when she woke up on the floor, there was a puddle of blood because he was cutting her and whatever. But like I said, the story doesn't make any sense, because I thought you said that, like, I don't know, like she all over the place. I don't know. But for me, I thought that, she was 5 or 6, 7 years old, whatever, how old she was, and this grown man is molesting her, so that's why she had blood on the floor. I didn't know. She said it was because he was shaving her. Like, I guess he had time to come and get the razor and shave her. She said, the girl was all over the place. Like, I can't lie. Like, she was all over the place. She was just saying things. Like, I think she was just rambling, and she wasn't really making any sense. Like, that's why I was just like, what are you, girl? What are you talking about? Like, at first I basically was like, I just, was like, I don't want to like be like, well, she's lying. I just was like, you know what? But after I like really like I watched the video again and I started reading the comments, I'm like, it does sound a little weird, and then I went to her Instagram page and she had a video. I got a little bit of the video of her and her boyfriend on live, and she basically was just like, that the guy that did the interview, he gave them $200, and they not rich like everybody think that they are, and they didn't steal like everybody think that they are, that they're still getting up and going to work like two normal people. Like, they're not rich. She doesn't basically, they both were saying like, I don't know why y'all think that I'm rich, or whatever. And she was like telling people, I guess somebody asked her in a live, like, is she pregnant? And she was like, oh, I hope I'm pregnant, because and then they like, why you hope you're pregnant? And she's like, oh, because I want to have his baby. Talk about the guy that she was standing with. But she said that that she was with in the live, but she said that that wasn't the pimp, that's her boo, thing or whatever. And that's why she wanted to have his baby or whatever. Like, who knows where the girl was going to put the baby. I don't know if she's going to put the baby in a tent. She said that she didn't have any family. Her and the boyfriend is on the street. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, like, that's what she literally said that in the live. I got a little bit of the live. I'll put it in here, but it's not the whole thing. But basically, they basically was like that they didn't ask for this fame. Like, like, she just did an interview and the guy gave her $200. And honestly, the guy is a little bit fishy too, because he got a whole bunch of drug addicts and stuff on his page that, like, literally one of the ladies that I saw, she was basically halfway asleep on heroin or whatever. And he had some other people there, but I watched one of the people, and the guy, it was a guy that was like he used to be a pimp, and he was on there. He basically was asking him questions too, like, what do you do? And and he was like, well, I do photography or whatever, but I don't get paid for this. I don't know when the video was put up. I didn't look at that, but I do know that he said that he didn't get paid for it. But when I went back to look if he had like any ads or whatever in his videos, he most definitely has ads. I don't know if I know he making a little something. He said he wasn't in the video with the guy with the pimp, but he's making a little something. But I'm tired of doing this. Like, I've been like on this thing all day, and I think this video was even like an hour long, like 50 minutes or something like that. I don't know. But that's just what it is. And people think that she's lying, and the little bit things that she gave us, like, the things that she said about her past and stuff, a lot of it doesn't equal up to what she's saying. She got people that know her from high school saying that she did go to high school, and like that her grandmother took care of her or whatever. I don't know. Like, I don't know if, I don't know the situation, but I did see, I did, when she, in the interview, she said that her grandmother told her that her mother used to abuse her when she was a baby. Like, in the beginning of, the interview, the first interview, she says that her grandmother told her that her mom, abused her when she was a baby. But she also said that the grandmother lost her to foster care when she was 2. So I know your grandmother didn't tell you that at 2. So at some point in time you were connected with your grandmother and your grandmother was able to tell you that. But I don't know the circumstances of that. I don't know if her grandmother is like still alive. I don't know what's. I mean, that's what people were saying, that her grandmother raised her. I don't know if her grandmother died or whatever. But according to her, she says that she doesn't have any family and she's with some guy. Whatever. I'm going to put the clip in of the little bit of the live that I got. I didn't get much, but I'll put a little bit in there. But that's all for this video. I'm going to put that little bit at the end.
Money, that's on the dead homies before even that money shit came out.
He been here before the money, like.
Nigga, ask anybody that's in downtown. I always have to make something happen for the both of us, never just me. She gets something before me while y'all talking shit.
What they say? It's my pimp. Are you serious? Do you really think I will have my pimp with me and I'm fucking worldwide right now? Really? My pimp, he shouldn't have, talking, been here before the money.
They don't understand it was $200 stanky ass dollars. What the fuck?
Man.
We got us some outfits.
Why do they think that I can't run it up selling my coochie? Why do they think that?
Because I don't want you to sell it.
Duh, but I'm just saying, if I'm like, what type of horn do they think? Y'all see my waves though? Ooh. They think my hair done. They said that my hair is done.
She said that you did this for the fame.
What fame? What paparazzi do I have? Y'all the ones that's just blowing up my Instagram, bothering me. Shit, invaded my fucking little piece that I have. No, why would I pin my Cash App? So people could think that I just want their money? I'm gonna stop going live with y'all. Y'all do too much. Don't end it. Answer what? Pretty bitch, Chrissy. Answer what? Breathe.41. Shut up.